Hi guys, it's me, Kimberly Clark. Welcome back. This is my highly requested Q&A video. Yay! Welcome to my Thank you guys so much for submitting all your questions via YouTube and Instagram. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for subscribing and following me and kind of sticking with me and my little story and what I got to say, and I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. And so this video is for all you guys that are really interested to get a little bit more backstory on who's the real Kimberly, the deep inner who she is. I'm gonna try to answer the questions as best as possible. I have to apologize in advance. I cannot answer all of them. I got so many questions, which is so exciting. Thank you so much. But I feel like the ones that I chose to answer are kind of ones that a lot of people asked, and or things that I figured would kind of paint the best picture of me. This being my first Q&A video, I think it's kind of great to just give you guys the best overview possible. So let's go. First question is from Jennifer Flank, and Jennifer writes, how old are you? I am 32 years old. I'm 1 year younger than Jesus was when he died, so still got time, kids. 2, how long have you been doing drag? I started doing drag on June 7th, 2014, so it's been about a year and a half. You could watch my first ever drag performance. I posted it on YouTube. I did a lip sync to Tina Marie's Portuguese Love. Check it out. I thought it was pretty good, but it was the first time I ever performed drag. 3, are you happy being male or do you want to be female? I'm gonna answer this in a second because there's let me get back to that in 1 second. And then 4, how long have you been with your boyfriend? I think I've been with him for 8 years, maybe? I think we're coming up on our 8th anniversary. Is that true? I think 8 years. And then 5, I love you, not a question, just a fact. Thanks, Jennifer. I love you too. Okay, so let me just jump back to that gender question. Are you happy being male or do you want to be female? I actually got a bunch of questions that were kind of gender related, so let me just get this out of the way real quick. RuPaul has, I think I've quoted her a couple times saying, we're all born naked and the rest is drag. Now that is a statement that is kind of an extrapolation of a theory by preeminent gender theorist Judith Butler. If you're interested in learning anything about gender in a legit, interesting, deep way, you should read her books. Gender Trouble is a fascinating yet intense read. Basically, she posits that gender is completely performative, that we are born with certain genitalia or hormones or whatever that may determine our sex to some capacity, but the gender that we put on top of our sex has nothing to do with our biology at all. It has exclusively to do with how we are socialized and what we are taught to be. I'm a drag queen, but I live my life mainly as a cisgender man. Now, the word cisgender was kind of created to be able to distinguish between trans people and non-trans people. Transgender people are people that have personally identified as transgender, meaning that they have changed gender or have shifted gender or are living somewhere between the gender binary or have moved from one end of the binary to the other. The gender binary being male and female. And those are the two things that our society has decided that people can be. But the bottom line is that only you can define what your gender identity is. No one else can define whether someone is trans or not. No one else can define if someone is cis or not. Anyway, so the word cisgender came about to distinguish between trans and non-trans people. The only definition of cisgender, the best one that I've been able to come up with, is not transgendered. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, don't you mean that cisgender people were born with the gender that they present? That's a really kind of complicated statement because a lot of trans people assert that they were not born the wrong gender. Janet Mock is a kind of great kind of summary of this in various interviews that she's done, where she says, I wasn't born a boy, I was born a baby and I was socialized as male. So to say to a trans person like, oh, but were you born male or were you born female is kind of undermining the validity of their existence. Anyway, so if you're kind of confused about what kind of language to use, transgender and cisgender are kind of the go-to words. So I guess to kind of clear up any gender questions, I am a drag queen, which is not a lifestyle choice. It is a activity. In my day-to-day life, I am a cisgender male, and there you have it. Let me know if you want like a video about gender and my thoughts on gender. And I feel like this is just I feel like the can of worms has been opened. You're welcome. Let's go. I'll take them out and play with them. How do you continue the metaphor of the worm can? I don't. Question number 2. Okay, this is from Sicknick Double Lot. If you could describe yourself as a 3-course meal, appetizer, entree, and dessert, what would they be? I think for appetizer, I would be probably bacon wrapped figs. Like those warm, there's like cheese involved in them. Just because I feel like I'm very sweet. I'm also crispy. I mean, if you've seen my other wigs, you know that that is true. For a main course, I think I would be like a really pizzazzy salad or something. Like that has like firecracker shrimp on it or something. You know what I'd be? I'd probably be like a salad from California Pizza Kitchen or something. Something that like it tastes better than it, like the health, like it looks like it should be healthy, but it tastes really good. So you're like, I don't think this is that healthy. Also, you're in a mall eating it, so you're like, what is happening here? And then for dessert, yeah, I would be a French chocolate mousse, just because I like to pretend that I can pronounce French. I know how to make chocolate mousse, which is hard. If you've ever tried it, it's not easy. It takes a while, and it's mostly air. Question number 3. This is from Clara Robson. What do you do for a living? I imagine doing drag can't be cheap, and you seem to be very smart, well educated. Well, thank you, Clara. I attended New York University's experimental theater wing. It's part of the drama department at Tisch School of the Arts. As soon as I graduated, I started performing professionally in the city with a dance theater company called Big Dance Theater. Of course, immediately I was not able to kind of support myself with just performing. So I had an office job. I worked at Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, a program of it called Dancers Responding to AIDS. Amazing AIDS fundraising organization here in New York City. And then I went back to school. I tried to go to grad school for graphic design because I was getting into design more. So then I started doing websites. And then, I also was getting more into sound design for theater. I'm a musician. I played piano like my whole life, basically. I'm a very musical person. That really kind of was the thing that took off for me in New York. And so I would say about 3 or 4 years ago, I kind of stopped doing all the other non-theater related work. I didn't have a day job. I didn't do like web design or things like that. I exclusively have been working in the theater, doing music direction, composition, sound design, performing, and choreography. Honestly, like if you can go to my website, my boy website, chrisgiarmo.com, and you could see like all the other stuff I do. There's a lot. I've done a lot of stuff. Will you be doing more Kimberly Hangs a season 2? This is from V Loves Beauty. Listen, V, I really want to do a season 2. I've got some amazing guests lined up. Part of me is like would really love to work with like a producer. If you've watched any Kimberly Hangs and you look at the credits, it's really just me and a camera person or two and my friend that I'm hanging with. I do all the editing. I do all the, I choose where to go. I kind of organize, I produce it basically myself. I don't know if I have it in me to do like a Kickstarter or Patreon thing for it. Let me know if you would give money to see me film more Kimberly Hangs episodes. If enough of you are like, hell fucking yeah, who knows, maybe I'll do that. Anyway, but I will definitely do it again. I do not know when. Thank you so much for your interest in that series. I really think it's great. I think it's like an awesome show beyond like the realms of my channel and the beauty, where like it's just like I think it should be on freaking TV. If you work for Bravo, you call me, or Logo, or World of Wonder. Hello, call what the fuck? Come on, Rue. What were the most common makeup mistakes you have made? This is from Desi Talks. Mr. Bobby Graphic is sending me to a desert island, and I can only take 1 lipstick, 1 music album, and 1 book. God damn you, Bobby. The lipstick that I would probably, because, okay, listen, you know, when people answer these Desert Island questions and they're like, I wouldn't take a lipstick or I'd take a lip balm just because it'll be dry. No, we're in it's a fantasy desert island, okay, people? It's your favorite freaking lipstick in the world, whatever. Maybe it would be the one I'm wearing now. It's a Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick. I just love that formula. I would be able to put it on at the beginning of my desert island day. I wouldn't have to worry about touching it up. But I feel like I would, like, find, I don't actually have my coral is like my go-to shade, but I don't really have a coral shade in that Everlasting Liquid Lipstick formula. Then I got, maybe I'll find one and that would be it. But that, I think, is the lipstick. Music album, this was really hard. And I'm going to tell you my toss-ups because, okay, it was a toss-up between Janet by Janet Jackson or the Bodyguard soundtrack, just because how could you not want to listen to Whitney, who was, like, at that point in her career, was, like, had the best voice that has ever existed. Or Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Again, just, like, I could listen. Desert Island, you're like, oh, you'd have to listen to them over and over and over again. All of these albums I have listened to over and over and over again. I would love to. And you know what? It wouldn't be a Tory one, because I feel like I did that. I put in my Tory time. I've listened to all of Tory's, or, like, you know, her first 5 or whatever albums, literally thousands of times. I am a huge Tori Amos fan. I'm obsessed with her. Like, she's like maybe the biggest musical inspiration in my life. But I gotta say, the album that I would take would be OK Computer by Radiohead. I listen to it still and I'm like, this is one of the best albums that has ever been made. Like, the flow, the musicianship on it, Johnny freaking Greenwood on guitar, like Tom York's vocal, like, it is just, it's maybe my favorite album. Like, it's so good. Also, because, like, you could, like, listen to that track that's, like, fitter, happier, more productive, in a cage, on antibiotics. Like, and you could, like, be totally, like, tripped out, like, having sunstroke on a desert island and just be like, this is awesome. Liz Cakes asks, how did your teased wigs become something signature for you? I never washed them. I do, like, spray the insides with alcohol and tea tree oil, like tea tree water, just to, like, kind of disinfect them and, like, make them not make my skin break out when I put them on. But, yeah. Lynette Melendrez asks, do you have a specific routine that is your fave? I do a number where I do Nasty Girl by Vanity 6, but before I do Nasty Girl, I actually lip sync the fully unabridged kind of impromptu press conference that Catherine Scalia gives to CBS News. Catherine Scalia was known as, like, the hot dog hooker. If you were, like, from the New York metropolitan area, you might remember her. She's this woman from Long Island who, like, she was a stripper, and then the club shut down and she started selling hot dogs with a bikini top on, and then gave her business card out for men to come to her house and get lap dances, and she got busted by the cops because they were like, you're a prostitute.
Okay, guys, indecent exposure is not prostitution. I've been a topless dancer since I'm 19 years old. I love my job and everything, and I worked at the Bare Necessities in Island Park. When it shut down, I had no job, so I started a hot dog truck, and I started showing my cleavage and giving out my business cards. Next thing you know, I have the cops up my charging me with prostitution when I'm not even a prostitute. So where is the prostitution coming in?
You pleaded guilty today to prostitution.
I plead guilty to stripper.
Again, if you want to see me perform, follow me on Instagram. That is where you will learn all about my gigs and my dates and stuff. This is a question from a queen here on YouTube who I think has one of the best drag names I've ever heard. Her name is Lethal Injection. Lethal Injection. Genius. She says, I know you mentioned having a boyfriend before. Does doing drag make that harder? What about dating in general? Thanks, love you, Kim. Yes, I have a boyfriend. Like I said, Nathan, we've been together for about 8 years. Does doing drag make it harder? Yeah, it does. It does. Just because there's another person in our house. It's not like having a baby where, like, you get to watch them grow up and, like, get used to them. Nuh-uh. This is like a full-on, like, adult kind of like slutty, crazy, like party girl, like just showed up one day, and so here she is. Anyway, but he's so supportive and so sweet, and I am so grateful for him because it really takes a special person to kind of deal with not only a performer, because I think all performers are fucking crazy and we're all like impossible to deal with, but a performer whose art like is their body. So like there's this inherently like really selfish aspect to what my performance is. It's me making my body into this object that is like making a character, person, or whatever. That's a lot. That's really intense. I think it's really I applaud him so much, and I know he understands how much I appreciate him, but I'm gonna say it publicly on the internet right now, just in case. I love you, Boobar, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Andrew Mead asks, what queens, past and present, have inspired your drag and or you in your personal life? So I think my first kind of drag inspiration was Miss Varla Jean Merman. She is... she's one of my favorite queens. She's like old school, like from New Orleans. She is a fucking amazing vocalist. She's like an operatic singing voice. She's like the range of like a freaking soprano. She's phenomenal. Also, I would say that my sister's severely maimed. I love her. She's such an inspiration to me. I'm freaking like so much older than her in real life, but she has taught me so much about drag and performing as a drag queen and like the scene, and like she's such a dear friend to me, and I'm really grateful for her. And you could see her hang with me in episode 6 of Kimberly Hangs. And of course, the legendary Lip Synca. She... again, like, just fabulous, phenomenal, like, the degree of, like, performing acumen that she brings to the stage. She's a queen that does kind of long-form lip syncs of, like, Joan Crawford interviews and stuff. Legendary. No question about it. Legendary queen. Church Cat Productions says, hey, Kimberly, I was wondering if you have a drag mother or are you just your own independent girl? I do not have a drag mother. I am kind of a drag orphan. A couple years ago, I was music directing and performing in a dance theater piece that toured to a lot of regional theaters around the country. It was called Man in a Case. It was by Big Dance Theater, and it starred Mikhail Baryshnikov. And I was in it, and I was... it was kind of a high-profile gig, and I was making some money, and I had a lot of downtime. I had also kind of been asked to perform at this performance series in New York called Catch, which is like just a showcase of like short performances and stuff like that. That happens like every month in New York. Great series. And they were like, do whatever you want. And I was like, I've always wanted to lip sync Tina Marie's Portuguese You Love. So I was like, cool, I'll just learn how to do drag. And then I'll do it in drag. It'll be great. How hard can it be? I basically would spend all my free time like practicing on my face. I had a beard in the show, so I actually never got to paint my full face until like a week before like my debut. Like it was a little scary. Like I didn't know what I was gonna look like under there. But like every city I went to, I would do different things. So in San Francisco, I got my shoes. Got my first pair. It was a 7.5-inch platform pleaser, white pleaser heel. That was my first pair of shoes. Started off strong. Then in LA, I worked on my body and I got a lot of clothing. And I got my makeup kind of together in LA. Chicago, I practiced my makeup more. I made a new set of hip pads. Got more clothing. In France, I worked on my routine. I worked on dancing and stuff. And I basically took all these different stops on our tour to learn different aspects of drag. And the way I learned was through the internet. I just looked on YouTube. I looked up different drag tutorials, Miss Fame's tutorials, Willem Belli's tutorial, Boy with Brushes tutorials. I learned all this stuff from all these girls, and I've talked about her a bunch. Sharon, the woman that works at the freaking Mac Pro Store in Beverly Hills, she taught me everything I know about contouring. She gave me the shades, she got me the Pro palette, hooked me up. So if anyone's my drag mother, it's Sharon. Teddy Love says, I'm trying to declutter my life and really want to build an ultra minimal makeup kit. I have one already, but I want to start fresh. What would your full-faced minimalist makeup kit look like? Lorax Professional Primer. MAC's Full Coverage Foundation in the shade W10. NARS Soft Velvet Loose Powder in the shade Snow. Coty Airspun Powder in the shade Translucent. Lunatic Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette. Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. Kat Von D Liquid Liner and Trooper. NARS Via Veneto Black Eye Pencil. A pair of 301 lashes, some Duo Lash Adhesive, and the Dior Show Iconic Overcurl Waterproof Mascara. Oh, and lips. Oh my god, freaking lips. MAC Retro Matte in the shade Steady Going. Nude, like warmish pink shade. Love it. That's my kit. It's my kit, Teddy. Great. Almost done. 10. All right, where are we? 14. Oh god. Is this on? This is a good one. Shelby Coley writes, what is your best advice to someone wanting to start a YouTube channel, or 3 tips you wish someone had told you before you began? I would say, number 1, lower your expectations. Do not think that this will become your source of income or a job immediately. It won't. It's still not for me. I don't really make that much. I finally got my first check. I made $100. Finally got my check. Took me over a year to get there. So do not think that you're just going to become a beauty guru or become the next Jaclyn Hill or whatever instantly. Really you should totally dedicate yourself to it and be passionate about it, but do not spend money you do not have. Don't invest insane amounts of money getting a fancy camera, fancy lights. Don't do it. I don't have fancy lights or a fancy camera. I'm doing okay. Number 2, I guess I would say be prepared. If you're going to talk about things, research them. Just print them out. Make a list. Know what you're going to talk about. Unless you're prepared to edit all of your ums and I don't know, and oh wait, what is it called? Let me Google it. Out of your videos, which I did for a really long, I still do edit my videos heavily, as you can tell, but I gotta say, the more prepared you are, the more time you will save editing. And editing is such a time suck. It takes so much time, whether you're an excellent editor, whether you're super fast, doesn't matter. It just takes forever, just the way it is. And I guess number 3, I would say go to the YouTube University or whatever it's called. I recently met the creator of YouTube. What is it called? These words are not helpful. I'm looking for YouTube tutorial, learning YouTube. What's it called? YouTube Creator Academy. It's the YouTube Creator Academy. This is such an amazing resource to teach you all these ins and outs about YouTube. It teaches you how to view your analytics, how to build an audience, teaches you about lighting, all this stuff. The YouTube Creator Academy. I actually met the guy that created the Creator Academy recently, and he told me all about it. I thanked him. I was I've used the Creator Academy before. It's so good. It's such a great resource. I wish I knew about it when I started my channel, because it is so invaluable. It's basically a place where you could get all this info about YouTube really quickly and all in one place. I will link to it below. I will link to it right here. It's a great channel. YouTube Creator Academy is what it's called. Holy shit, I just searched for that for 15 minutes. 13. Okay, this is a really amazing question from C. Kruger. She asked a bunch of questions, but this one, she writes, how do you interpret that women love being told by you not to buy stuff? What do you think you're tapping into, and how will you capitalize on it? Is the you don't need it a new tipping point in what women want from beauty gurus? Okay, I'm also fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by the whole beauty guru world, the world of beauty. It's very fascinating to me, as I've said. Here's a thing that I am not excited about. I'm not excited about telling women what to do, period. I really feel even though I'm a drag queen and I do makeup and stuff, I'm still a cisgender man, which means that I need to check my privilege when it comes to mansplaining things, even if I'm in drag. I don't think it's helpful at all. I'm not going to name any names, but I get really frustrated when I see male identified beauty gurus talk about how women do things wrong with makeup, where it's like, oh, that looks bad, or like, you can't do that, you will look like a fool, you will be bad, like you, and are very critical of women. I think there's like a really huge trend in like the gay community of like being misogynistic, and I think that's like a way that it disguises itself even in the beauty community, like where men will be like, you don't know what you're doing, girl, like all this stuff. And like I would never ever tell anyone that they're doing something wrong. I would never say that your makeup is terrible. I would never ever say that like you are doing the wrong thing. Now, as I say in my anti-haul videos, I'm not like telling you what to do. I'm basically doing what other YouTubers do, kind of in the reverse. I'm hyperbolizing the lack of need for makeup. I never want anyone to feel, you know, that I'm like instructing them or, you know, telling them not to do something that they want to do. That said, a lot of people have expressed to me how helpful it is to just hear like a voice of reason and talk about makeup in this positive way that does not have to do with buying everything. I'm thrilled that there is an audience of people that are interested in having realistic conversations about consumerism. I feel like women are constantly marketed to in really derogatory ways. So many products for women are marketed because they make you feel bad about yourself. They make the products into something super sexualized. I actually was so disappointed last year when I saw, like, I started off with nails and nail polish. I kind of love nail polish, you know, because it was always one of those things where like it was not sexual. Like it wasn't this thing about like you being thin, being able to snag the hottest man. It was just nails. Like your nails, you can't like have an eating disorder with your nails, you know? But then there was like a Revlon or Maybelline or something ad that came out where it was like women's nails on like sexy men's faces, and it was like
blue, deep red. Screams sexiness to me.
No, please, no. Like, stop. You're sexualizing nails? Like, really? Oh my god, that's so fucked up. We need to really like say no to all that stuff. And I think the beauty community on YouTube, which appreciates beauty and makeup as a craft and not as a sexual currency, I think is really, really huge. More on that later, but I hope that answers your question. Okay, and then the freaking last question. Mia Easylay asks, when the fuck are we hanging out again? Mia, get the freaking Platinum Pony to book me. I'll go to Massachusetts. I'll go there. I'll go hang out with you and your freaking splits and your amazing tit shadows, and I'll freaking go. I'll hang out with you and your beautiful boobs. That was an hour. I just filmed for an hour and 15 minutes. If this video is anything less than that, then you should just appreciate the amount of fucking editing. Thank you so much for asking all of your questions. I sincerely apologize to all of those whose questions I did not answer, but there will be more of these. Stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram because I might post some Q&A requests there in the future. You know, if you have some really, really burning questions, just leave them in the comments below, and if, you know, there's enough kind of interest in different things, I will do specific videos on them. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out my other videos. I'm Kimberly Clark. Bye! Look at my dinosaur dress. It's got pockets. Look at these nails too, they're really cute. They're a little chippy. This nail polish I think is called like Aren't You Francie by OPI, the like mauve color. Ugh, what a stupid name. Anyway. Has that sideburn been out the whole time? Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize for the hair. I look kind of like a Marx brother. What is happening here? Ow!